Whoa there. It's your boy TalliWoe. I'm here to pass the time, talk to y'all about some of the interesting videos that I've seen this week. First episode. Let's get it.
Okay, but is there any conspiracy theory with more raw power than the theory that there are no trees on Earth? This is apparently a flat earther theory, like another one. Because why stop at one form of crazy? According to this theory, a massive disaster destroyed most of Earth's biosphere a long time ago, and at that time also destroyed all actual trees. And by actual trees, I mean fully grown trees. They believe that the trees that we have now are nothing but tiny saplings that, if given enough time, would grow into 20-mile-high monoliths. Their evidence is in claiming that these mesas and plateaus look like tree stumps and therefore are petrified tree stumps. But what do you mean disaster? You're comparing these to like cut tree stumps. You have to be implying that something cut these down. I think we can do better. Something should have cut them down. Titans? Gods? Can I worship them?
Alright. So, this person was just basically trying to discredit ideas, but before we start just trying to make everybody feel silly for their theories, let's just think for a little bit. Now, dinosaurs existed. We found enough evidence to come to a conclusion on that. Giants existed, not only in the Bible, but we have found skeletons and we've been able to come to a conclusion on that. Now, what a lot of people don't know about is the process of wood and the fact that it can petrify long enough to turn into stone. Now, I don't think people are saying that all mountains are trees, but if we had an atmosphere that could sustain dinosaurs, however many of them there were, and if we've all been to California and we've seen trees that we can drive vehicles through, what is to say that there weren't trees that were way bigger than that? I mean, we have pictures of certain mountains that just don't look right. They don't look like they've always been rocks. So all I'm saying is, I take it from the perspective of we don't know everything. One. Two, some of these structures clearly look like they are rooted things that were in the ground. Now, whether they were trees or not, I'm not old enough to know that. I haven't been on Earth forever, and that's the perspective I take it. But if we know that wood can petrify long enough to turn into stone, if we know that dinosaurs used to exist on Earth, I think we should put two and two together and maybe come to some kind of research experiment to maybe check and see some of these structures and see if maybe, they used to be huge trees. Some people call them world trees. It's not a stretch, you know what I'm saying? It's a product of imagination, and imagination has come to plenty of inventions that people would have told somebody they were crazy before they did it. So let's just keep an open mind about that. Moving on.
What is the government so afraid of? The U.S. Navy sets off a 40,000-pound bomb in the Atlantic Ocean, 100 miles from the coast of Florida, saying that it was only a military exercise. However, looking at the footage of the explosion, it definitely didn't seem like a regular military exercise. Furthermore, it's known that there are unknown creatures or aliens living deep in the ocean. So, could it be possible that it wasn't a military exercise, but a cover-up to take out a deadly threat in the ocean? With this suspicious military exercise, many are asking,
All right. So they tell us that roughly 85% of the ocean has not been explored. We'll start with that one. Then we have to move on to the fact that there are animals in the ocean that kind of, the size that they are is kind of hard to fathom unless you've seen them. Am I right? So if any of the stories in the Bible are true, which some of them have been proven to be true, some of them are just things we take on God's word, which is how we are told we're supposed to perceive the Bible. But just for a second, one creature in the Bible that we hear from and hear about is Leviathan. Now we have to go back to whatever was seen on the big blip on the radar. They found on radar something in the ocean that was creating 80 to 90 foot waves. They told us it was just a malfunction of the equipment, but it kept poking up over and over and over. I'm a person that doesn't 100 believe. I'm a person that doesn't 100% believe in anything that I don't have proof of, that I can't logically put together in my head. I just don't 100% believe it. I take everything with a grain of salt unless it's tangible to me, unless I can see it, hear it, feel it, taste it, whatever. But I think a lot of people have this thing where it's hard for them to have an open mind. Yet we learn from books that change all the time. Science books, history books, all of that stuff. We slowly find out the truth, and then we realize maybe everything isn't what people say it is. You know what I mean? Now, I don't know everything about how the military works. We don't get told everything. Sometimes we don't get told the truth. That's something everybody can agree on. But I don't think that they spend the amount of money that they do on weapons to just put them to waste like that. If they do, hey, that's a hit that our tax money is making. That's a hit that our tax money is taking. But like I said before, I think we need to have more of an open mind about what actually might be going on. You know what I mean?
You know what the darkest conspiracy theory about aliens is?
I don't know if I'm ready for it.
That Earth is essentially a farm, and human beings are the vessels that contain souls, and they want us because this is how they create souls. And so they're farming us. They've created us.
Mhm.
So we started off as primates, and through some sort of genetic intervention, I'm not saying I believe this. I'm just saying that this is like top of the food chain, put your tinfoil hat on super tight, that they farm us. And that the whole reason why human beings are involved in this conflict, constant conflict, it's all of it is to increase our competition with each other, increase our ability to control resources, which will increase our technology, which will ultimately lead to us creating this being that we're going to create, this artificially intelligent super god.
So he was on a track that I could follow up until the we're just being farmed so we could create something um, that's supposed to be a super being. My belief falls around the reptilian theory, which is that we still are being harvested, but it's for the negative energy that we can create. And I connect that with all the chaos and unnecessary negativity that goes on in the world now. War happens, murder happens, all this stuff happens. But why? And, it's kind of a bonkers theory to believe in if you don't know what the reptilian theory is. Um, it's the lizard people theory. And I fell into it. I don't 100% believe it, but it has a lot of connecting factors into it that correlate with basically everything that's going on in society right now and continues to happen and is continuing to get worse. You never looked up that theory, I suggest looking it up. It was basically founded by David Icke, but a lot of the points that David makes, they make a lot of sense. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Moving on.
There are people living inside of the Earth. It's true. New information from NASA states that there is a large ocean beneath the Earth's crust, after scientists detected movement below the surface. Around 500 miles below, a large supply of water has been found stored in a rock named ringwoodite. But it gets even crazier. Scientists say that this rock is so huge that it contains 3 times the amount of water on the Earth's surface. This causes many to believe that there is more down there than we originally thought, possibly even civilizations. While the news of this discovery was over 10 years ago, it was never talked about. Is the government hiding this information from us? What do you think?
So that's another theory that I believe in, is the hollow earth theory. And the only way I can explain it to you if you've never heard of it is take you a piece of paper, a piece of notebook paper, construction paper, whatever you want, and ball it up into the tightest ball that you can make. Now, we have all of this water that's been displaced on Earth. It's still here, it never leaves. The water cycle proves that water never leaves unless we take it on one of these spaceships for astronauts to bathe in and stuff. Water never leaves. The Sahara is made out of all this real fine sand, and they have already discovered I think it was 100 square mile lake underneath it, which is where all the water that was covering the Sahara went. Then you have cave systems, you have all of these deep trenches and everything like that on Earth. So now take that piece of paper, ball it up real tight, and you see all those grooves and stuff. And some way, even though you can't fathom it without taking the paper apart. There is a way, when that ball is real tight, there's a way to get back to the middle of it. You see what I'm saying? And my belief is that hollow earth is just like that there's little pockets in the earth that have been created, whether it's by earthquakes, plates going over each other, anything like that. We got caves that have their own environments and climates in them. So hollow earth theory isn't some far-fetched theory. It's like something you can experience if you travel far enough, if you travel around the world and you see just how many grooves and and tunnels and everything are naturally made in the earth. Now, who's to say if some of these caves and everything have their own climates, who's to say that there aren't untouched civilizations or tribes that during cataclysms they escaped there? Who's to say there's not a more evolved version of what we were supposed to evolve from that's older than us on Earth? That's all I'm saying. Moving on.
This is scary. Isn't it weird? How we all use our phones 24/7, but we never see them or use them in our dreams. Even all the other technologies like TVs and laptops, you just won't see them in a dream. Some people think that this proves that we're actually living inside a simulation because something is stopping you from seeing something on your unconscious level.
Yo, I didn't even realize until I just watched this video. All of the dreams that I do remember, I've never had technology in them. Not even once. None of these dreams have I been watching TV. None of these dreams was there even technological furniture, let alone a phone. I've never used a phone in a dream. I don't know why I would use a phone in a dream. I'm in a dream. I should have been able to do whatever I needed to do to communicate, but it's so wild to think about all the times that I've dreamed. Like, I have at least 9 dreams that I can remember, and I've never had a technological device in any of these dreams. That's wild. That's so crazy.
Symbolism will be their downfall. Or is it just art? And let me be the first to tell you, it's all connected. I mean, if you know, you know. But first, let's go back to that video of Ellen DeGenerate. When the camera turns, you can see the inside of her house. Now, see that picture right there? Well, if you pause it and look it up, it says evil thoughts with revenge right next to it. Here's another picture of Ellen in her house, and this is the picture behind her. Now, the thing I'm curious about is the letters on top of the picture. These look oddly similar to the letters Marina Abramovich writes out when she does spirit cooking. Remember the beginning of the video? It's all connected. And that person that was in all red is Lady Gaga, and she went to Marina Abramovich many times for teaching. But let's continue. This is another picture of Ellen in her home. She's cutting her mother's hair, but what is that picture above her head?
Okay, so ever since all the news about Ellen came out, I had already been under the assumption that everybody that decides to be a part of Hollywood does some level of selling your soul. Now, what actual avenues that process takes, I don't know. I'm not in Hollywood. But don't you find it kind of wild that every time someone reaches that status, all of the symbolism they use, all of the art that they partake in, all of the activities and the fashion that they take part in, why does it always have to have something to do with the underworld? Why does it always have something satanic in it? What's with all the messages that we're putting out? When it's so easy to put out something positive, positively reinforcing, something that makes people feel good, why does it always have that undertone of like darkness and all the red and all the blood and like just stuff that you know is going to have people feeling either cringe or really like bothered by it. Now, the 4D chess theory would say that they're doing that because they know that that's what's going to get them most attention. Negativity spreads faster than positivity, which again, it goes back to one of those other theories I told you I believe in. Now, me, I have no bone in my body that wants to be a part of Hollywood after all of the things that I have seen, read, almost become a part of, just being somebody that was trying to go and express my talents and show them to the world. I got close enough to see that you have to give up a lot of your morals and a lot of your ethical standards in order to be a part of that world. And for me, it's not something I'm willing to do. Take that how you will.
We are the first species
Pay
on the
attention,
face of
people.
this earth
Pay attention.
to be aware of evolution, to be aware that we are affecting our own evolution by everything that we do. The babies we eat, the food we eat, the wars we fight. We are.
No. Y'all heard that. If you play the video over and over and over, you can't even pretend that you didn't hear it. The first thing that came out of her mouth was the babies we eat. Now, a lot of back and forth has been going on for a while about cannibalism in Hollywood. If you know the Army Hammer story, if you know anything about the deity known as Moloch, if you know anything about rich people and some of the hobbies that they partake in and how evil they really are, you know that wasn't a slip up. And if it was a Freudian slip. So all I'm going to say is yet another reason I have no desire to be a part of this type of world.
I'm telling y'all, they always hide the truth in plain sight.
Sure is.
Make a deal with me, kid. You can have the car and everything that goes along with it. So what do you say?
Two things. That's a Freemason sign ring. And, wait a minute, that's obviously the devil.
The devil coming to a dude and getting him to sell his soul for a $29,000 Mercedes. One thing that I keep hearing about the devil is that he has to put it in your face. One thing I keep hearing about evil people is before they do something evil, they have to tell you. Whether or not that's true, they are doing that. So, you can be a person who doesn't make everything about them materialistic and always be wanting things and always be willing to do whatever it takes to get such trivial stuff that will not matter after it ages out and it goes away. You're still going to have to spend more money, unless you sell your soul. So, I already have my stance on it. I usually don't tell adults what to do. It's your choice to make, but I've already made mine, and it's going to stay that way.
I have a theory that the Mandela effect is used to see how much of history can be altered in front of our eyes. Here's a prime example of one of that. There's this woman on TikTok who was going crazy because she swore the Fruit of the Loom had a cornucopia logo. And to the point that even Fruit of the Loom themselves put a timeline of all their logos and it never had a cornucopia. And this woman went hard. Her therapist told her, yo, you need to chill out. You need to just drop this. So she went through all of her old clothing and and lo and behold, she found a shirt with the Fruit of the Loom with the cornucopia logo on it. That shows me, like, yo, I think the Mandela effect is an operation that's running around right now to see how much of history can be altered right in front of our eyes without us noticing. And then they gaslight the public and be like, nope, this never happened.
Damn, I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah, bro, people are thinking about it very little, like, oh, it's the Berenstain Bears or the Berenstein Bears or Jiffy or Jif's peanut butter. No, it's much larger than that, guys. They're using this to see, oh, if we can get people to forget certain primary things about their childhood, what can we do with history?
A great point was made, and I'm going to push it home. It's easier to mold something into what you need it to look like and be if it's broken down first. Same thing with your mind. It's easier to take control of a broken mind than it is to take control of something that already has itself solidified, knows what it is, knows what's what, everything. The minute you start questioning everything, that's when you start to have your fall apart. And when you fall apart, guess who's going to be there to make you feel like they're putting you back together? Psychological operations is literally one of the fields you can go into when you join the military. Look it up. I'm not here to say what's going on and what's not, but if I was just telling people what I thought, in my personal opinion, is exactly what he said. Psychological operations. We know what was what. Now, when you push all these theories about merging timelines and all that stuff, I'm not getting into that part. But what I do know is people love to manipulate people. And mass manipulation has been a project that's been going on in different avenues for a long time. So get some solidity in yourself. Know what's what. Stop arguing with people that don't remember things how you remember them. As long as you know what's what and what's real, don't worry about what might not be real and all that stuff. You can think about it, you can speculate, but when you make that your whole entire mind, all you're doing is breaking yourself down and making you easier to control.
In the New World Order, we'll start. Yeah, AB had motherfucker for his contest. Take the bottom of this case. See the power of my eyes around the contest. My eyes are in the New World Order, we'll start. Yeah, AB had motherfucker for his contest. Take the
So I'm a person who makes sure that I pay attention to the things that I want to believe in, and I make sure that any of the material that I receive, any of the stuff that I take in about the things that I believe, I make sure that I'm not seeing what I want to see, and I'm making sure that I'm seeing it for just what it is and not trying to convince myself just because I saw something that I wanted to see. Now, like I said, I believe in the reptilian theory, not 100%, but enough to make myself aware of how I'm being and what mood I'm in and how I let people talk to me, how I let people, um, you know, coerce me, convince me of anything. Like, I'm very hyper aware naturally, so I always think about the stuff that I think about, like randomly. I try to tie it into everything I'm doing, stuff like that. Now, this video, it's hard for me to tell if it's real or not. For some reason, every time we have to see a video that's proving something that we want to believe is real, for some reason, it has to be shot off of a leap pad. And we are way too advanced in technology to keep only coming up with blurry evidence, like 100%. I don't know if that was real or not. In my personal opinion, it might be some kind of edited or CGI video, but at the same time, I wasn't there. I didn't see it, so I don't know. Also, that person has a very, very reptilian face. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm just saying, like, you saw the side by side. That's just what it looked like.
Hello. She wants to come in, Desson.
I don't know what animal I was looking at. I wanted to say it was a deer. If you do know, comment what it was. If that was supposed to be a deer, something's wrong with that deer. Something for real is wrong with that deer. Like, first of all, why are your eyes so far apart? Where's your horns? No antlers, no ears. You didn't even have ears. And then it was trying to like come into her place, like, oh hey, thank you for opening the door. Like, no, you're not coming to my house. First of all, you're a wild animal. Secondly, why aren't you behaving like a wild animal? Now, there's animals that act out of character when they want help, or when they are, when they have rabies and stuff like that. I don't know if deer can get rabies. I don't really know deer science, but like, if you know what a skinwalker is, that one had the characteristics of it. Um, whew. I'm gonna have to watch something funny to get over that one. That was weird. Well, that was the last video. I'm gonna always do these with the number 11. It's my lucky number. Tune in next time. We're gonna get weirder.